think it's safe to say that most people watch TV and seen some sort of commercial trying to advertise for alarm systems or burglary systems. But unless you're in a specified career field that has to do with alarms, you usually don't know what you're talking about. Yes, it's the great free installation, low monitoring, 2-year contract. But unless you do that job or in the electrical engineering field, you don't know what they're talking about. Good afternoon. My name is John Shevchik, and I'm here today to discuss alarm systems. First, we'll discuss what the design of a simple, off-the-shelf alarm system is. Next, we'll talk about some specific devices and their functionality. Next, together, we'll go over a full design of a simple, standard alarm system, and we'll kind of go over what some of the pros and cons of each one of the sensors or devices are. Also, I'd like to just tell you that my personal background is, in the last 2 years, I've been working in the alarm field. My job is to make sure that alarm systems are actually installed properly and that the government can sign for contracts to pay somewhere between a simple $60,000 project up to, I think by most is about a $3 to $4 million project. So I have a little bit of experience dealing with alarm systems. Now, you're asking yourself, what is an alarm system? According to dictionary.com, an alarm system is a device that signals the occurrence of some undesirable event. Okay, that's the dictionary one. But I think everyone knows what alarms do, but some people don't really know the capabilities of all the different sensors and things. So what we'll start out with is, according to wikipedia.com, a typical alarm system consists of 7 different parts. And we're just going to touch upon each one, kind of to give you, this is an alarm system. You basically need all these pieces and parts to call yourself an alarm system. So let's start out with number 1. Premise control unit. It's your brain. There's about 10 different ways you can do this with a simple computer, with a proprietary piece of hardware, but you always need a premise control unit. Sensors. These are the things that you see hung from walls, in doorways, and these are what pick up the bad guys. And later on we'll talk about how each of them work. Alerting devices. Bells and whistles. When an alarm goes off in a house or a door, you want the bad guy to know that alarm's going off, so that he gets scared and runs away before hurting your family or stealing your stuff. That's what those are used for. Keypads. The alarm can't be on at all times. You need a way to be able to turn off it. And a little switch won't work because then anyone can turn it off. Usually keypads that everyone gets a personal identification number that deactivates or activates the alarm system. Next is the interconnections. This is the wire in the network. Most times you're going to wire up all your sensors together and somehow network that away. Either that's going to be networked into, say, the internet or some other avenue. You can always go hardwired directly if the monitoring station is closed, things of that nature. Next, we'll talk about security devices. These are your lasers, lights, and cameras. These are the things that either target or watch the bad guy. Bad guy sets off door alarm, camera turns on, sees the bad guy. Same thing with the laser. Laser pinpoints where the bad guy is. Lights turn on, cameras watch the bad guy. Next, first, all this doesn't matter unless someone knows an alarm's going off, and that brings us to the last topic, the human component. Monitoring. Now you can do things like self-monitoring, where you can take a simple alarm system and have it routed back to your cell phone, and not even have to pay someone to monitor it. Most people won't do this. Most people, it's a combination one. Most people have an actual pay a monitoring service like ADT, or Central, or Home Security, one of those people that will monitor your system for you, but also sometimes you can monitor it yourself as well. It's kind of dual. So now that you've seen the design, let's jump into different sensors. There are literally hundreds of different types of sensors, but we're going to go over the 5 sensors that are most common according to the HomeSecuritySuperstore.com. Number 1 would be a passive infrared. Again, let's go break down the word. Passive. It means it's not shooting anything out. It's looking for something to change. Passive infrared, if you want to think about it, is I'm looking at a field of view like this. And I say the temperature in this room is 65 degrees. When something enters that room, changing the temperature sets off an alarm. Passive infrareds are very good at picking up things like that. One of the weaknesses of passive infrared sensor is if you have an HVAC or a heating unit, it sees the object. So when it sees floating air, it sees that floating air changing heat, and that sometimes causes false alarms. The next one we'll discuss is ultrasonic detectors. Ultrasonic detectors, in the name sonic, something to do with sound, but it's not listening for sound, it's emitting sound waves. bouncing them off like a bat would. And when it sees something breaking that, boom, alarm. Next, we'll be discussing door sensors. And most alarm systems do have door sensors. Usually a simple positive and negative. It closes, no alarm. It opens, alarm. And the most common name for some of these is the balance magnetic switch. Because instead of just having positive and negative, it's actually balanced so that you couldn't basically spoof it with putting a positive and positive over here, making sure the door wouldn't open. When it's balanced, it has to be this exact magnet, closing or opening to cause alarm, turn off the alarm. Next, number 4 is going to be microwave sensors. Now, I won't go too far into the technology between microwave sensors just because we could spend a whole day talking about that. But basically, microwave sensor, it shoots into a field of view. It doesn't have to be that symmetrical line like this. Usually it's a cone. If you think about a dark room, if you flip on a flashlight, that's how a microwave sees. So, when you break the microwave beam, it causes a shadow in the microwave, which causes an alarm to enunciate. And lastly, we'll talk about the only one that actually really takes the human interaction to cause the alarm. It is a panic alarm. This is panic alarms, also called a breakup alarm, breakout alarm, things of that. What it is, it's an emergency button switch. You hit it, cops come, fire comes, whatever comes. It's a simple switch. It can be done with a light switch, or they sell about 300 different models of how to make that panic switch. It can be wired, wireless, all different things. Now that we know what an alarm system is and the functions of some of the sensors, let's build a system together. What I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm going to turn on my dandy dandy TV here, and here's my design. This is a simple one-story building. Let's go into what it is. You've got a couple rooms here. You've got a garage, some stairs. Now when I talk about the most common thing you'll see in alarm systems are the door sensors. And that's exactly what you have here. You've got mag contacts on each one of the doors, and you're always going to want that because that's your first line of defense against the bad guys. Next, when you look in there, you see that it has passive infrareds. Like see, passive infrareds shown in that room. Floods out, so anyone coming in from here, going into the side of the house, will be seen. You can see they have a few of those covering what they think is the most important, being the lounge and the dining room. Next you see, you have a control panel. Now that's your premise control unit. It is always going to be inside the area. It doesn't make sense if you put all the important stuff on the outside that's not protected by sensors. A person like me or the people that work for me can literally go up there in a matter of seconds, turn off your alarm system. That's why you have to be behind what they like to call the censored area or the controlled area. Next, you see a little thing called a dummy. Now that's a real nice thing to have. If you have a good company, they'll put a dummy box out there so that a bad guy comes up, goes in the dummy box and thinks he turns off your alarm system. Goes inside and he doesn't know the real box is on the inside. Next, we'll go over that. You have an external sender or a bell box. This is what we're talking about. You want a bad guy to know an alarm system is there. So when he opens that door and no one's home or you're sleeping, bam, lights and sirens. He's scared, knows the cops are coming, knows someone's in the house or going to be in the house very shortly. It's a very good thing to have. Next, we have our personal attack button. Like I said, panic alarm, duress alarm, things of that nature. It's a very good placement in this design because basically, you come inside a house, someone comes up to you, puts a gun to the back of your head. Now, if you've been through any training, you're supposed to comply. But when you walk through this front door, he doesn't know there's a duress button there. You can walk by and pop that button, cops are coming. It's a great placement of it. And what it does is, as you can see, the door's right here, so you can just step back and hit it, and no one knows the difference. I think this is a very decent design. Now, if I was designing this, I'd design it a little different because I have a little bit more experience. Of course, I'd be throwing a few more PIRs in there, then be putting 4 cameras around there for enunciation, floodlights and things of that nature. A little bit more pricey, and of course this is from the HomeSuperscore.com. Basically they have several designs out there that you can pick and choose so that you can start building your own alarm system. To me, this is a decent alarm system, especially in not a high crime area. Now, what we've gone over today is what a home alarm system is. We went over some of the common sensors that you can even still see up here in the map, and then we built a home alarm system together. So now, when you're watching TV, or you're thinking about getting an alarm system, do a little bit of research. You can go to homesecurity.com, Wikipedia, any of these things, and you can see basic designs, and you can kind of get a mindset of what you needed. And it really has to be based upon the threat, which is what's the crime in the area, literally what you want to spend, what you want to accomplish by putting an alarm system in your house. So again, thank you for your time, and you have a nice day.